Well, first of all, Michael Vick is back. On a little
Yes.
off-topic note, I don't know if you have any comments about that after he destroyed the Lions this past weekend. Lions fans.
Javid Best. Javid Best played great.
He did have a touchdown.
And speaking of fantasy points, he put up a ton.
That's true.
So that's our answer to that.
Well, speaking of fantasy points, Braylon Edwards generating very few fantasy points. He only has 54 yards this season, and he's selling his T-shirt, the Beard T-shirt, on his website for $55 in the blue and gold. Excuse me, base and blue. Get a little Notre Dame there. But meanwhile, the Michigan State New York Jets colored green and white's only $30. What gives? Is he going to use all these profits to fix his hands so they stop dropping the ball so much?
That's going to get some negative YouTube comments. I would just say I was informed that this goes to the Braylon Edwards Foundation. Maybe it's a foundation that buys stickum for middle schoolers and high schoolers. That's my guess, at least. What about you, David?
I just think $55 for a T-shirt's outrageous. I mean, unless 3/4 to all of it's going to charity, it's just simply outrageous. And Braylon Edwards, I love you, but you're better than that.
Yeah, Scott, you're pretty loose with your money. You let it just go all over the place. You'd buy a $55 T-shirt, wouldn't you?
I'm a business student. I try to understand the basic ideas of supply and demand. I don't see a demand out there for $55 T-shirts. That's just me, though. The supply is there, apparently.
Someone's buying
We'll
them.
see. Maybe Braylon didn't exactly get the same Michigan education as some of the others got.
It'd be scandalous if that's true.
I'm
Ask Jim
sure.
Harbaugh about that. You saw a commercial for Stanford football already, so.
That's it.
right.
Well, next topic.
Yeah,
All right.
go
Well,
ahead.
you know, the Eastern Washington Eagles of the Big Sky Conference have made their field blood red. Are they setting up for some bizarre sacrifice ritual when the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks visit in October?
Yes.
Yes.
My greatest concern is like the sight loss that's going to occur in this part of the country, and it's a rural part of the country. It's only a couple miles away from Idaho. Actually, Chris Hammer, former runner for Grand Valley State and good friend, teaches there now. He's teaching racquetball. He didn't know anything about racquetball as of July 30th, so you can judge Eastern Washington academics. But they're going to cause all these people to go blind. They're not going to be able to see, and there's no doctors around there, so what are they going to do?
Well, can the Pistons team doctors make sure Rodney Stuckey doesn't go to any home games? Because that would just be terrible for them. I mean, he's already a little shaky on the court, but Eastern Washington, I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, a blood red field. Boise State, it looks pretty cool. The blue field, I like that. Red, it's a little too much for me.
Well, I don't know whether to address you calling the Boise State field cool or whether to address the Eastern Washington field interesting. The one thing I'll say, I'm not a science major, I'm a business major, like I just said. But in track, they make the tracks red or orange because apparently it makes people run faster. So maybe with this red field, everyone will just be blazing around all over the place. Better quality football. Who knows? Maybe it'll work out for them.
Well, if the Nebraska, the Big Red, join the Big Ten next year, and Michigan visiting Lincoln, Nebraska, maybe we'll see a red field over in Lincoln, eh? Excited about that?
Maybe CFL teams will adopt it.
All right, well, the last topic for today on Peter Ponders is, of course, Joe Montana coming out in this past week talking about Rudy and how basically much of the last final scene after he sacks a Georgia Tech quarterback is kind of just, over-dramatized, and it's really just kind of a big joke, just another thing seniors would do. But my question for you is, Josh Nesbitt is that quarterback for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in that final game for Rudy. Does he make the sack?
No. No, right? I mean, there's no way.
Well, you actually look at the play. It's on YouTube, this play that's famous from the movie.
Well,
it's only really half a sack, I'd say. He does touch the quarterback, no question, but there's another defensive end right there to help him get him down.
It wasn't a Brett Favre, Michael Strahan, like I'm just going to lay over for you so you can sack me.
Not quite that.
Okay. All right, a little bit
But they
more
were trailing by 14 or 17 points at a time with literally no time on the clock and at their own 30-yard line. It is a bit over-dramatized. Who would guess Hollywood would ever do that?
Yeah.
Well, and Rudy, I think to answer your question, he'll probably be busy in Henderson, Nevada, doing whatever it is Rudy does. Maybe he'll be hanging out with his son, Nate Montana.
Ooh.
Maybe that's why Joe Montana hates him so much, and maybe that's why Nate Montana is not a very good quarterback. Thoughts?
You heard it here first.
High drama.
Rumor and innuendo on Varsity Blue.
That's not a very smart move from Joe Montana. Very few people don't like Rudy. Very few people who've watched that movie haven't at least gotten a little emotional. So Joe Montana coming in saying, it's all lies, don't believe it, nobody likes Rudy, not making a lot of people very happy. I don't know what Joe Montana's motive there was.
Maybe he has a business motive. Maybe he's gonna start selling Rudy Sucks shirts and all
He'd
these
make
certified
a little
by Joe
bit of money in
Montana.
Ann Arbor, but he's not making a lot of friends outside of Ann Arbor.
All right,
was
well,
at
that's
the
all
Michigan
Ponder
State game.
today. Oh, sorry.
He was at the Michigan State game as well. They showed him. And the annoying, look, it's the family of people that aren't playing shot, which is very strange. Okay, well, we do have to move on to the Bowling Green preview, but Peter, you're still here for a reason.
Great, fantastic.
Because you have great firsthand experience at Bowling Green.
Right, well, last year, myself and Alex, we traveled to the Bowling Green Ice Arena for an exciting Michigan versus... See, there's some fans there. There's plenty of people in attendance from Ann Arbor. About an hour drive, hour 15 minutes or so, and the Bowling Green Falcons, a proud hockey tradition. Rob Blake, 1999 Norris Trophy winner, played there. They may have won a national championship in the 80s. We're still getting research on that. But so many exciting things, like you look at this shot here. That's a Thrasher draft pick right there, by the way. There's this kid who turns the horn on. It's just kind of a bizarre atmosphere. Surreal almost, and kids air guitaring. Strange things indeed. In
Strange things at Bowling Green. And there's... and dodgeball on ice as well.
Violent dodgeball.
Violent dodgeball. I guess so the question is, and this was a very physical game too, and we'll see some footage of that later, but also see some obscene footage that children should shield their eyes from in just a moment, and people skating poorly. But what do you guys want to see from this Bowling Green game, guys? We'll start with you, David. And what do you think we will see?
Well, I'm not going to jinx it like I did last week and say I want to see a backup quarterback. I want to see the defense perform. I want to see Michigan actually play a good, complete game and do what they should win this game pretty handily.
Do you think Denard Robinson could run faster on ice than she can skate?
Yes.
I think so. Sorry. Scott, what do you want to see from this game?
I'm sorry. I'll start talking football. I'd like to see Michigan's defense show up. I'd like to see Greg Robinson make some changes to the defense. Try and get the safeties. Try to get the safety set up. Try to see if he can somehow get the defensive line to not be as manhandled as they were against Massachusetts. There's a lot Michigan can learn from this game. This is the last game they're going to have to be able to learn things and not be able to have to perform it. Bowling Green will not be as good as the rest of the teams in the Big Ten they'll face. That being said, we're still going to need good games from the offense. Defense is going to play a lot better than they did against Massachusetts. But if they do those things, hopefully we'll see a victory.
Well, hopefully we won't see that, because that is just awful. That's all we have time for this week on Varsity Blue. Apparently we had too much of it. I'm Alex Prasad, David Now, Scott Wagner, Peter Saul. We'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll be talking about a big, easy, relaxing Michigan victory.